Am I covering you?
Carrie, just so you know, we're looking at a balance, a financial
Oh, there you go.
sheet.
Thank you. That's not what we were supposed to be looking at. Lovely.
There we go. Good morning. As you are joining, please use the Q&A to tell us where you are joining from in your class and school. We'll be starting right at 10 o'clock, so in about a little less than 2 minutes.
Yep.
All right. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. It's fun to read in the Q&A. We have people from Rogers, Minnesota, Fargo, North Dakota, Spring, Texas, Albert Lee, fourth graders from Glenville, Minnesota. Welcome. Fourth grade STEM class from Goodhue. It looks like Miss Meyer. Thank you for joining us. Fertile Beltrami, Minnesota, Stillwater third graders, St. Croix Prep Academy in Stillwater third grade, we're glad to have you. Mrs. Molly's fourth graders in Winona, first graders at Brooklyn Center, Mrs. Schmaltz's third graders in Lewiston Altura Elementary, and many others. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Fourth graders in Wells, Minnesota, Lakeville first graders, St. Peter Lutheran kindergartners in St. Peter, Minnesota. We are happy to have you. My name is Sue Knott. I'm an education specialist with the Minnesota Agriculture in the Classroom program, and my coworker Carrie Seidel is running our technology today, and we have team member Brittany with Midwest Dairy on our camera. But I am most excited to introduce you to our farmer today. Her name is Quincy Schmid, and she's going to show us around. Schmidt, I think I said her last name wrong. She's going to show us around her farm in just a second. But a few reminders is that we really want to know what questions you have as you're viewing. So teachers and students, you can use the Q&A that you just used to tell us where you're joining from. Put your questions in there, and I will try my best to answer as many as possible. We do have some classrooms joining us on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, you can use the comment feature and ask your questions, and we can ask them there. But we are going to travel virtually to near Maple Grove, about 6 miles away from Maple Grove, to Sherber's Morning Star Dairy. And Quincy Schmidt is the owner, as well as her parents. It's a family farm. And Quincy's gonna introduce herself and tell us a little bit about the farm. So Quincy, over to you.
Okay, so we are having a little technical difficulty. So why don't you share if there's a couple more people?
Yeah, I didn't get to mention everybody who's joining us. So I will go through and give a few more shout outs. We are really excited to have, I think I said Lakeville first graders. It looks like Miss Wolf's class. We have a preschool group in Blaine. We're excited to have you. Mrs. Konechki's, I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I did said it wrong. In Bemidji, St. Mark's Lutheran. And then we also have fifth graders from Clinton, Graceville, Beardsley, I believe in Clinton, Minnesota. First graders from Leroy Ostrander, and Mrs. Saz's first graders from Southwest Christian in Edgerton, Minnesota. We also have a group of second graders from Rochester, Minnesota. So as we are getting our camera ready to go to the dairy farm. Oh, we do also have third graders from Pierre, South Dakota. I want you guys to tell us or think about what is your favorite dairy product that you like to eat or drink. So think about that, and if you have a favorite one that you want to put in the Q&A or chat, if you're, or I'm sorry, comment if you're joining us from YouTube, put those. I would love to see what you like to eat that has dairy in it. We
Okay,
also
so
have.
Sue, I see we are working on getting back on. I do just want to ask our friends that are at the dairy, Lisa, if you can log off, I think maybe having a third one on Wi-Fi is too much. And also, Sue, while they're working on that, I do have a few people over on YouTube that are watching that I would love to share that they are on here too. We have a kindergarten class from Wabasso, Minnesota, Miss O's class, second grade class from Benson. Um, we have Miss Bridgman's first grade class from Ogilvy, Taylor's Tots in Coon Rapids. So we have quite the crew joining us today to watch.
Excellent.
So
I asked the classes on Zoom what their favorite dairy products were. So YouTubers, if you want to share that too, we get a lot of ice cream. I would agree. That is one of my all-time favorite foods. We have milk, we have yogurt, we have cottage cheese. Yes, all good choices. We have some more people shout outs too. Second and fifth grade homeschool from Bemidji. Mrs. Thompson's kindergartners from Owatonna are here. Lake Elmo and Elementary Profe Stephanie. Maybe there's some Spanish speakers, which we will be speaking English, but maybe you guys can think of some Spanish words. I also think it might be fun to share with you some of the vocabulary words that you might hear today during this virtual field trip. So we're going to meet some cows. And cows, like, I mean, they're cows, but they have certain names for boys and girls. So so older females or older girls, we do call them cows once they've had a baby. Once they've had a baby, a calf, then we call them a cow. So a cow is a girl. Before she's had a calf, so a female, a girl before, when she's young, before she's had a baby, we call her a heifer. So Heifer is how you spell that. So young girl cattle, dairy animals are called heifers. Then we get to the boys. So older boy, we would maybe call it a man if it was a human, is a bull. And sometimes we call them bull calves when they're babies or when they're young. So we have cows, which are girls that have had a baby. heifers, which are younger females, and then we have bull calves, which are young boys, and then once they get older, we just call them bulls. So how are we doing at the farm? We maybe aren't quite ready.
I just saw them and then their camera went off. So
Okay, well, another thing I want you guys classrooms to check out is when we see these cows, you will notice that they are black and white. So cows, there's different breeds, just like, there's different breeds of dogs or cats or other animals. There's different breeds of dairy cattle too. So the ones that we are going to meet are black and white mostly. I think they have one red and white one. So see if you can pick that one out in their barn. But the black and white breed is called Holsteins, and they're really popular. A lot of dairy farms, a lot of farms that raise these cattle for milk, they raise Holsteins because they produce the most milk. And a unique thing about Holstein cattle is their black and white pattern is unique. So there's no two Holstein cattle that look the same. So you can notice that. Quincy, it looks like we are working. I don't know what happened, but I'm
Yes.
so excited to see you and to see these cows. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and about your farm?
Yeah, well, thank you all for being here. We're so excited, and the cows you can see are very excited. My name is Quincy, and I work with both my parents on our small family dairy farm. This farm was actually started by my grandpa, and he started with 20 cows. We now have about a little over 100 cows in here, and you can tell they're super friendly. They're really calm. They love saying hi, but it is a dairy farm, so they are making the milk, and their milk actually will go into cheese curds. We have somebody who comes around to pick up our milk, and it'll go to a creamery where it's made into cheese curds. So our job as farmers is really just to spoil the cows. We want to make sure that they're always healthy, that they're fed, they're taken care of, that the barn is clean. So my dad and my job every day, we're here taking care of the cows, making sure they're all okay, and we're really excited to be able to share that with you today. And
Excellent.
each
Thanks. Oh, thanks, Quincy. We already have a question in the Q&A, and feel free, classrooms, to put as many questions in here as you'd like. I try to ask as many as possible. The student Jennifer is curious, how old are these cows?
Well, the ones that are here standing by me right now are about 4 years old. Our oldest cow is 11 years old. Her name is Rex. Everyone's got a name out here when we name them based off their mom. So Lila's mom was Lil, and like Hera's mom is Hedwig. The name that their mom starts with, and their name starts with. So these ones right here are all the same age. They're about four. Our cows kind of get up into their teens. We have some 2-year-olds that are mamas. They grow pretty fast. They're about 100 pounds when they're born, so they get to be really big by the time they're adults.
So can you tell us a little bit about the barn that we're in, how big it is, and how many cows can fit inside?
Yes, so we have about this side of the barn can fit about 125 cows. We just got maybe 110 on it right now, but the cows actually it's filled with a bunch of mattresses. The cows can free roam, they can do whatever they want all day, but these are actually water mattresses so that the cows, maybe I can stand on here without her getting too mad. The cows actually, excuse me. So if you can see the mattress, it moves. It's a water mattress because the cows are so heavy when they lay down, they kind of plop down on their front joints. And so these water mattresses just give them extra comfort for their joints. We want to make sure everything is taken care of. So the water mattress protects their joints. My job is to clean off the mattress in case any of them goes to the bathroom, and then we bed with straw to keep them warm and clean. They have 4 water stations in the barn where they can drink wherever they want. And then they also have a feed alley down there where we'll go where they can eat whenever they want. We have a feeding robot that will feed the cows all day long. She feeds about 12 times a day, and it feeds about 1,000 pounds each time. So the cows are eating a lot, but they have water whenever they want. They have food whenever they want. And we'll also see some milking robots at the end of the barn that the cows can also milk themselves whenever they want. So really all we do are taking care of them and cleaning, and the cows, they're their own bosses. They sleep for most of the day. They sleep about 14 hours, but then the rest of the day they're socializing. They'll milk for about 5 minutes and then eat and drink and rest again.
Awesome. Let's walk over to that feeding alley that you mentioned. And as we're walking, I have a bunch of questions. I'll ask a few of them. Um,
Okay.
there's a couple about the most. So someone wants to know, what is the biggest cow that you have and what is the oldest cow that you have?
So the oldest cow we have, her name is Rex, and she's about 11 years old. Our biggest cow is probably about 1,750 pounds. So they get to be really big.
Okay, here's a question from Miss Shea's class. The class is wondering, why do they have tags in their ears?
The tags in their ears are just so that they have their names in their ears. I don't know if you can get up see them at all, but this one's Sharky. So the tag in their ear is actually just their name tag. And then there's one other tag in their other ear, a white circular tag, and that's their federal ID. So it's just kind of her US identification that she's wearing.
Excellent. Okay, Kayla has some really good questions here too. She wants to know, how many years will a cow keep producing milk? And then also, how can we tell the difference between a dairy cow and a beef cow?
Good question. So most of the cows will have their cows their whole life. So they can keep producing milk into their teens. They can produce dairy cows. It's kind of in their genes. It's what their body naturally produces a lot of milk. So even if it's been a while since they've even had a baby, they're still producing milk. Some of our cows are making about 150 pounds of milk a day, and that's after their baby's weaned and everything. And so they make milk for a very long time. And cows, a lot of times, their dairy cows are a little taller. Maybe it's just a little less round than a beef cow would be. Beef cows tend to be maybe more solid colors, and they don't produce. They
Hey, Brittany and Quincy, let's move towards the milking robot room a little bit further. Our signal is struggling just a little bit.
sounds good. Okay.
Yep, so Quincy, if you can hear us, if you want to take a few more steps down that feeding alleyway, and classrooms, if you can see, the cows are eating the feed out of the central alleyway, and you maybe heard Quincy mention this. They have a robot that delivers that feed to these animals when they're ready a couple times a day, so they have all of the food that they want to eat. So Quincy, can you hear me? Maybe she can't.
Yes,
Oh yes, okay. Why don't you tell us about what these cows are
I
eating?
can hear you. Yep. So these cows, they have a mixture. Cows can be picky eaters. They really like sweet food. So our robot is a big mixing bowl on wheels that mixes up. We've got hay in here. We've got some corn kernels, and we have silage, which is the whole corn stalk with the grain and the grass, and it's ground up and fermented a little bit, and it just adds a lot of nutrients for the cow. So they get hay, silage, and corn, and we also purchase a soybean mix to add protein to their diet. So it just mixes up all of the food together so that it's a full packed meal when the cows come up to eat. And so they can't just sort through because cows have a sweet tooth. They want all the sweet, they want the grain, but they have to eat the hay as well because that contains a lot of fiber and everything they need to stay healthy. So the robot mixes it all up into one big meal, and then you can see them eating. You can see they're still kind of trying to sort through the food. They're still trying to get the sweet stuff, but with mixing it all up, still are everything that's healthy for them.
Excellent. And Quincy took a video of the feeding robot, I believe. And so if we want to show that, and then Quincy can kind of tell us what's happening as we watch these cows enjoying their, I guess, I don't know if this would be their breakfast or their lunch, but here we go. It's just a quick video. We can see more about their feeding process.
Yeah, so these are our silos that hold all the food, and the silos are connected to our kitchen. And the kitchen is where all the food is made. And so here you can see all the silos lead into this dome. We have corn ingredient one at a time, and like it'll mix this around. And then after mixing for about 20 minutes, it'll drive out to the barn and feed the cows.
So that's the robot right there, the red robot. And
And it
Quincy,
does
what,
that about 12 times a day.
12 times. And tell us what her name is. The robot has a name. Oh, I don't know if Quincy can hear me.
You
Well, I
guys
will.
are probably all, oh, can you hear me?
Yep, you're cutting a little bit in and out. I was just asking, what is the robot's name?
We named our robot Alice, and you guys might be too. She's named after a character named Alice Nelson, who's a cook in that show. And Alice, the robot, is the cook for the cows. So that's where we came up with the name for Alice.
Okay, so here's a question from Miss Klecker's class. They want to know, how long does the robot take to get from the kitchen to the barn to get the feed to the cows?
It probably takes
Let's take
about
just
5 minutes or
I
so.
say, can we take just a quick minute and have Brittany, our wonderful tech person, make sure that you're on Wi-Fi at your barn right now on that phone? If you need to turn the camera off for a second, that's just fine. We appreciate all of you guys listening in and giving us here a quick second to check on our technology. Sue, I'll turn it back to you if you want to.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. And just so everyone knows, we practiced this this morning, like 20 minutes before we joined you, and it was working perfectly. So sometimes things don't go as planned. But please keep putting your questions in the chat, and I will ask as many as possible to Quincy. There's some really great ones, and I hope that we have time to answer most of them. If not, you guys, Midwest Dairy, who is an organization that works here in Minnesota as well as a couple other states, they have a really great website that has lots of good information. And our Minnesota Agriculture in the Classroom, we have a website too that has more activities and information that you can learn to or use to learn more about dairy animals. And I mean, if there is a dairy farm near your school or near your town that you live in, it would be awesome to see if you could visit them and see these cows in person. So something that, oh, here we are. Quincy, let's hear from you. Let's see how you're, tell us where you are.
We're just standing by one of the milking robots. So you can see Chip and Mithril right here are waiting to milk, but there's a cow in there right now who's milking, and it takes minutes for her to milk, but we can get a closer look on the inside of the robot as well. But you can see some of these cows are actually waiting to milk, but they choose when they want to milk.
So that was
They
a
do
question, Quincy.
it all on their
A couple classrooms were curious, how do the cows know when
own.
they want to get milked?
About 150 pounds a day, and so they kind of feel when they want to be milked. And then they also get fed at the robot. They kind of get a sweet treat at the robot. And so some of them, if they're not milking as much, they go because they're motivated by food. Most cows will milk themselves about 3 to 4 times a day.
Okay, excellent. So let's walk into that place where we can see the robot. So we saw the robot that feeds the cows, but these robots are going to look much different because their job is different. They're going to milk the cows. So as we walk to Quincy, if you want to point out anything that we should notice, there might be a special surprise for our students joining us.
Yes, we can come right on over here. And there's a little surprise tucked here. Her mama standing right behind her. But had her baby actually yesterday, but they have access to the milking robot, so the mom can feed her baby but also milk herself whenever she wants.
So tell us about this baby. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? How old is it? How much
It's
does
a
it
little
weigh?
girl.
Okay.
It's a little girl. She weighs about 100 pounds, and she was born yesterday afternoon. So she's just kind of taking some time with her mom. She's getting all cozy in the straw. And her mom licked her off. She's all fuzzy. Right now, she's just snoozing, but she'll nurse from her mom. And then her mom can also use the robot if she wants to as well. But they have their own little space to kind of eat and drink and rest without the competition of all the other cows in the rest of the barn.
Awesome. We do have a question from a student who wants to know, how much milk does a cow drink daily when they are born. So what does this calf drink?
This calf will drink about, let's see, about 6 quarts of milk a day. It's like, I guess I don't know how much, if you can see my hands. They'll drink, oh, here, wait. If you can see my hands, they'll drink a bottle that's about this big 2 to 3 times a day. So that's how much liquid that they're drinking. But a mom might have more milk than that. So that's why she also milks herself in the robot. But yeah, she drinks about 2 or 3 bottles a day that are this big.
Excellent. So here's another question. How often are calves born on your farm?
We have calves born every month, but it might be 5 calves born. It might be 2 calves born. So we have about, if we have 100 cows, we maybe have about 50 calves each year born. We kind of just go, we just go by the cows when they're ready, and they will be calving year round. So it depends on the month.
Excellent. Okay, as we walk into the milking area, here's a question that I think is a great question. Do you have any dairy animals on your farm, and do they give us any milk?
The boy cows do not give any milk, but we do have the babies on the farm. We don't have time to see the babies today, but we have another barn where the older babies are, and we'll have our calves there, and they'll continue to grow and eat and hang out with all their buddies as they grow up. But in the end, they're not the ones that will produce the milk. It's only the females that will produce the milk.
So
We
then,
can head right on in here.
yeah, tell us where we're going now.
So now we're heading into our robot.
Oh, Quincy,
To
your
our
question.
robot room. Kat just
Okay.
came in here up. Can you hear me?
We can now. Yes, try again.
Okay, so this cow just came in here, and when when the cow first comes in, she's getting fed a snack, but it starts off by brushing the cow with these milkers. It'll cup up each quarter. She has 4 quarters that give milk. And so right now she's eating her snack and she's getting milked. It takes about 5 minutes to milk her. And you can kind of see the milk coming through these little hoses. The milk will come into here where this will measure the milk. It'll weigh it. And it'll also kind of look at the milk. It shines light through the milk. It'll also kind of look at the milk. It shines light through the milk. It's dumped. Send it.
Quincy, we can see you, but we can't hear you. I don't know if we could. Can you hear me? All right, I think you've caught up with us now. Could you tell us about that screen right there that we're seeing, Quincy?
Yes. Yep. So this is Rosa who's milking, and it's showing she's got 4 quarters with milk coming out of it. This one's got a check mark. She's actually done milking out of this one right now. But the robot tells me a lot about the cow. Rosa milks about 116 pounds a day. She milked last 5 hours ago in 20 minutes. And so the robot actually monitors everything, and you don't want to over milk a cow. And sometimes cows will come into the robot to get a little bit of an extra snack. But if it's been less than 5 hours, it actually kicks the cow out. It won't milk them. It gives them at least a 5 hour break. So she's kind of coming in right at the end of her break. But it monitors everything, and it says it's 72 degrees. That's in, I believe, Celsius, because the milk is about 101 degrees when it comes out of a cow in Fahrenheit. And then the collars that the cows are wearing are kind of like Fitbits. And this is her Fitbit number. Instead of monitoring her steps, it's monitoring her chewing and her swallowing. And it lets me know if she's sick or not, because if she's not eating, she's not feeling well. So that way I get to know how the cows are doing. So if this number drops, I know that I need to look at her. So it's kind of cool. A cow can't tell me that she's got a stomach ache, but the collar that she's wearing will track her daily activity and then let me know if she's not feeling well and I need to look at her.
So that was a question that several students had put in the Q&A. They were curious why the cows were wearing collars, but now we know that helps keep track of all of these things. So the screen is a little blurry. So let's go back, and if we could look at the milk coming into that clear container. We've had a couple people ask, like, from that clear container, where does the milk go from there?
So once that's done in here, this will weigh everything. And then behind us, in the room behind us, we have a big stainless steel tank that will hold all of the milk until our trucker can come pick it up and bring it to the creamery. Our trucker comes every other day. So this tank, the milk comes out at 101 degrees. It comes out at the cow's body temperature, but we need to get it below 42 degrees pretty fast so that tank cools and stirs the milk until our trucker can come and pick it up. And it actually goes from our tank to the shelves within 48 hours. It's a really fast, milk is a fast product. So it goes from the tank to the creamery where it's made into cheese curds, and then to the stores or to restaurants, all within 48 hours.
That is awesome. So 2 days it goes from the cow to maybe us enjoying some cheese curds. And you said your cheese curds are Ellsworth, right? Ellsworth cheese curds?
Correct, Ellsworth. And they're sold at like Hy-Vee and Coburn's and at a lot of restaurants as your appetizers. If you get cheese curds, a lot of times it'll say it's Ellsworth.
Excellent. Well, Quincy, thank you so much for hosting us. And classrooms, thank you for joining us. We can't appreciate, or we so appreciate you joining us and bearing with us as we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but hopefully you got to see these really cool robots and how they're helping dairy farmers bring milk to us. Quincy, I have one last question from you, or for you, that was asked by several classrooms. They want to know, what is your favorite part about being a dairy farmer?
I love the cows. The cows are what motivate me to be a farmer. Sometimes, something's not, the robots aren't working or the weather's really cold, but the cows are always there. They're so sweet. Whenever I'm cleaning, I have a cow named Halea. She always comes up and kind of taps my shoulder with her nose, and she always wants her morning scratches. So the cows are always there. They're just fun. They've each got their own personality. They're so funny. They do the funniest things. So for me, being a dairy farmer, I really appreciate being to be with the cows every day and take care of them and even learn from them.
Well, that is awesome. Well, thanks, Quincy, for showing us around at Sherber's Morningstar Dairy. It was so great to meet you. And classrooms and teachers, thanks again for joining us. We hope that you'll come back in 2026 for some virtual field trips that we have planned for the new year. So happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.